Hello and welcome to Livewire's C-Suite reporting season coverage. My name is Chris Conway and today I am joined by the Pro Medicus CEO, Dr. Sam Hupert, who will discuss with us the company's most recent results and the outlook from here. Sam, thanks so much for joining us on what is no doubt a very busy day. You've just released your latest half-year results. Yep. Can you share with us the important numbers that investors need to be aware of?
Well, I think all of our key metrics went in the right direction. I think our revenue grew 30% plus, clearly off a bigger base. Profit grew in 33% after tax, as did underlying in that order of magnitude. We remained debt-free. I think we also had our biggest sales period ever. We won 4 very material contracts in the first half. The total contract value is in excess of $200 million over the 7 to 10 years, depending on length of contract cumulatively. But that's the biggest we've had and will really set us up for FY25 and beyond. So I think good figures for the half, but also good sales that will set us up going forward.
Sam, you made mention of the contracts there. They've been very important in terms of displaying to the market the momentum, and of course that drives the share price. In terms of contract wins over the next 6 to 12 months, can you shed any light on anything that you're working on at the moment?
Sure. We have what everybody asks us about called the pipeline, and in our industry 2 years is a relatively quick sale because these are large, sophisticated organisations. They don't make changes randomly. So we have the pipeline, and for us pipeline means there's an active RFP process or sales process. It's not people who are speaking to us. They're in a sales process. And I think a few things for our pipeline. One, pretty much everybody now wants cloud, which is great for us because we haven't done an on-premise implementation in North America in 3 years. Right. The second thing is they want full stack. They want more of our products. And it's across a broad range of opportunities, both in terms of market segment and size. So it's the healthiest it's been, which is really positive for us. And we're just very pleased with the state of it at the moment.
Just diving a little bit deeper there, I think I remember from your results, one of the contract wins was that full stack, and it was also the biggest deal I think you've done in your history. So that's what you're talking about in terms of people wanting more of the full suite of products, right?
Yeah. The last 4 that we've done were all full stack. So the one you were referring to was Baylor Scott & White, the largest not-for-profit in Texas. So
that's right. Yeah.
Like everything's bigger in Texas. But the other ones were the same. They took all 3 products, and so the total contract value of each of those obviously increases with the more products that they take.
Sam, just to back up a little bit, not everyone will be familiar with Pro Medicus, so can you just share a little bit about what you guys do?
So we specialise in healthcare informatics in the medical imaging space. So any image in healthcare is fair game for us. I think the biggest producer of imaging is diagnostic imaging or radiology. People are familiar with those sort of types of tests: X-ray, ultrasound, CT, MRI. And we're the software that allows a radiologist and other clinicians to call up the images, enhance them, make 2D into 3D where appropriate, and make the diagnosis. So we're the radiologist's clinical desktop.
Just a thread that I might pull on there, Sam. Have you got any data around how your products have helped increase the efficiency of diagnostics?
We think of return on investment or ROI through 2 prisms. One is financial, and radiologist efficiency is the biggest one. Yeah. There's an acute shortage of radiologists globally, increased number of images to be diagnosed. Yeah. So it's almost a perfect storm. So efficiency per radiologist is massive. We know that we can increase it by 20% plus per radiologist, which is very material. Then, of course, we're talking about diagnosis and patients' lives and patients' well-being. So we enable things that other systems would either enable but take too long to use, or capability that other systems don't have. So we certainly aid in the diagnostic side. So we move the needle clinically, as we call it. So it's both financial ROI, but also clinical.
You had a very exciting development recently. I've got to make sure I get this right. It was the launch of the Vision Ease VP for Apple Vision Pro. Yeah. Seemed to be a big game changer. The market liked it. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the Vision Pro, most people would know now as Apple's virtual reality or immersive spatial imaging headset.
Yep.
And I haven't actually even seen one myself because they're very hard to come by. We had one in Berlin and now have them in our office in San Diego, and I'll actually get to see one later, mid next month. But the concept is that it's fully immersive and it's spatial. So when you think about it, the body is 3D volume. Yeah. So to be able to view part of the anatomy, 3D and immersive, it's almost like being inside the body.
Right, wow.
So we're looking at what use cases exist for it. Now, some like surgical planning, training. I mean, teaching students anatomy in my day, you had to cut up dead bodies or cadavers to understand the 3D relationship of various structures. Now you could do it all virtually. So it's very exciting technology. Our offering is ideally suited towards it.
Sam, one of the concerns about Pro Medicus, perhaps more so in the analyst community, has been one of competition, in the sense that because you've been so successful, that naturally attracts competition.
Yep.
What are you doing to stay ahead of your competitors?
Well, I think really we've always had the mantra in software: there's only two states, quick and dead, and you don't want to be dead. So we understand that you've got to keep innovating, and we do. So we are always reinvesting in the core platform and the adjacent products. It is a proprietary platform, and as far as we can tell, no one has been able to replicate it, even after being 10 years plus in the market. And then we take additional steps, like what you've just mentioned, the Visage Ease VP. It's a whole new paradigm. And we don't believe others can catch up to that because maybe the technology is not well suited to this sort of streaming immersive space, whereas ours is one for one, it's ideally suited.
Sam, how has the macro environment affected the institutions and the hospitals that you're dealing with? Is there any signs of penny pinching, if you will, in this perhaps more challenging environment?
We haven't noticed any. The only time that I think people were really cautious, and understandably so, was during the peak of COVID. Now, in those days, they were shutting down facilities, patients weren't coming to hospitals, volumes dropped precipitously, maybe 80% or more. Yeah. But that was very short-lived. And since then, yes, there are always financial challenges or people, always hospitals shrinking or growing, but we haven't noticed any delta. Matter of fact, our pipeline's the strongest it's been, and as we've said recently, our last 6 months were the strongest sales period we've ever had. So no, we haven't been affected negatively.
Sam, you've managed to establish yourselves in many of the important training institutions, particularly in the US. Yeah. How does that help with adoption of technologies in future?
Well, these are thought leaders, and it's very unusual. Normally someone will be in the market for 10, 15 years and maybe, get one client that is a luminary or two. Mm-hmm. We have 9 out of the top 20 hospitals, and they came in fairly rapid succession. Now, these guys not only push the envelope clinically, but they're always looking at research and new things. So together with them, we do a lot of joint work, and I think the Vision Pro will be an excellent example. Our launch client was University of San Diego. They are the ones that helped broker the introduction with Apple because they saw the close by and they saw the promise. Yeah. But we'll now look to offer the application to various other thought leaders and have their doctors use it so that we can understand the best use cases for it going forward.
Sam, let's talk a little bit about the outlook. So the Visage product, it's moved into the cloud. It's now with Apple Vision Pro. Yeah. What happens next?
Well, we're always working on a number of things. I think Vision Pro is version 1.0, and I think that will evolve, and I think it'll be interesting to see what real-world applications come out of it. There's obviously the whole spectre of AI, and medicine is very, very well suited to artificial intelligence and healthcare imaging in particular. It's about matching patterns and pixels. So we think that will all emerge. And actually we see the two technologies converging because a lot of AI is, particularly in imaging, is segmenting or separating things, like separating one organ from the rest of the body, or separating a cancer from its normal tissue, so you can really see where it's growing into, and hopefully after treatment where it's receding from. And we just see that, you know, this immersive space and in 3D could just be a whole new level in that sort of space. So I think they're very well suited, and I think we'll see a lot more of the two together.
Sam, aside from the competition, which we've already spoken about, what are the biggest risks for the outlook for Pro Medicus?
I think all our risks are the standard ones. Clearly, you've got to make sure you keep innovating, because the minute you slow down, you're in trouble. Yep. I don't think there are financial risks, because interest rates don't really impact us. If anything, they're good for us, because we have retained earnings and cash that's accruing, so we get interest on it. All the others are just making sure we adequately resource for growth, and we manage that growth. And I think a key part of it also is around client engagement, because you're only as good as your last support call. So making sure that you are as engaged with the user base, not just going out trying to get new users, is fundamentally important. But I think we know that's, you know, that's the important bit, because we've been in this industry 40 years. So we're used to that high bar of engagement, and we actually enjoy it.
Sam, one final question, if I may. I just saw your eyes light up when you were talking about the AI opportunity, and you had a big smile on your face. So I just wanted to ask you, after being in this game for as long as you have been, an incredible success, what keeps you motivated personally?
I actually think we're moving the needle clinically. Yeah. So, you know, when I was a clinician, I used to have quite involved conversations and helping a certain my patients. Yeah. But there were only so many you could deal with in 24 hours. Here it's different. We touch patients very lightly, but tens of millions in terms of capability of how a diagnosis could be made. So I think that's very exciting. I think, you know, the overlay of artificial intelligence and technologies like immersive imaging will actually raise that bar again. And I think it's most probably the best time to be in the industry that I can remember.
Sam, thank you so much for chatting with Livewire today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed that C-suite reporting season coverage, make sure to give it a like, and don't forget to follow our YouTube channel, because we're adding lots of great content every single week.